Check, check. Check. Hello, everybody. This is TechSec here. Let's start a stream. Okay, so yeah, we're good. We good? Check the mic. Check the mic. Check the mic. We're good. Okay, so I finally figured out the issue we were having. I turned you off. Turn off all the way. I finally figured out the issue with the pushable blocks, right? So basically had to recode it from scratch. Instead of doing it all in update, we're still storing the location in start and then reusing that. Gosh, I don't even know, are we using it? Yeah, we are using it to determine the delta. But basically what it's doing is on collision enter. So we're entering the collision box for the pushable. We're checking if it's the player, and it's the player's, not the trigger. Not his trigger, so his regular bounding box. Figuring out the direction of the player, running this method, which basically takes the amount and returns it in the proper vector 3 coordinate, so xy or xy, and positive or negative, and that gives us a point in space, right? And that point in space we're using against this overlap point, and then that returns a list of collider 2Ds that will determine what we're overlapping with. So if that's null, we are not in the middle of a collider at that spot because we're adding 0.5 to it, so we're going offset from the center of it by half, and then this speed, the amount we're going to move it by. So basically we're seeing, is where we're moving to a collider? If it is, we're doing nothing. If it's not, we're then going to go through and say, is this going in the same direction as the, or is our direction known, right? So the direction of this block that we're pushing, has it been defined as unknown, which is the default? If it has, then we're going to go ahead and set the direction to the player's direction. So if you're facing to the left, and that means you're pushing to the left, right? So we set that, and then we say if it's the same, right? Because on a subsequent collision, you might be facing a different direction. So if it's still in the same direction, then you're trying to push it in the direction that it's supposed to move. And we're doing the math to figure out what the distance we've moved so far since our origin, and basically locking in the X and the Y if we've not moving in those given directions, basically. And then setting the distance, right? So if it's greater than 1, we're not moving it. If it is less than 1, our total distance, then we're actually transforming its position. That's simple. So let's go ahead and play it in the game. Haven't tested it a ton, so I can't say for sure that it's flawless yet. I've tested it enough to know that there were some issues with it initially. So apparently physics2d.overlap does not take into account composite colliders that are edge-based, and I'll show that in a minute. So what the player's going to have to do, and spoilers, if you don't want to see it, don't look, right? Real hard. So you're going to have to do this kind of thing, right? Where you're moving those two, then this one out of the way. Then you're going to go through this door, which I can just keep walking, right? So we're going to do it this way. That'll be another room. There'll be a couple other rooms, right? You got to go through. And then you're going to come back down into this, and you've got to figure out how to get out of this part of it, right? So it's going to be this, and then this. And then you can walk out this door to the outside again. The thought process being that's where that hidden, not hidden, but that extra item's going to be. So you have to figure out a couple puzzles. You're going to come back out here, and then how are you going to get out of this, right? Well, the way you get out of it is to do this. And by having that fire pit there, you can't go the other way through this. It's a one-way kind of thing. So, there you go. I guess also if you really were trapped and couldn't figure it out from that, you could do this one and get out that way, right? That'll work too. But I guess there's a chance the player could get trapped up in there. Oh well. We don't have an exit yet, so yeah, that's what this room's about so far. But did some decoration of it, right? Not too much yet, just enough to get started. I like kind of being able to work with these tiles to get some patterns and stuff going, just to kind of test some stuff out. The gray was too much, right? It needs more than what we've got going on, so I'm not sure what to do about that yet. Also not sure what we're going to do in this part of the castle or the dungeon, right? I'm assuming there'll be a door here. Maybe we'll put a door here as well. That'll go off into other areas. But yeah, that's kind of stuff I did off camera. I'll show you what I mean by the collisions. So these colliders are a tile map collider, and then they have a composite on them. And when you do that, it defaults to outlines. Outlines are considered edge colliders, which do not work with the physics 2D overlap point. So you have to make them polygons. And then it fixes. Yeah, let's take a look at Trello now. That kind of gets us up to speed with where we were from last time. I think. Because I streamed the other day, didn't I? I can't remember. Probably didn't upload to YouTube today either. I completely forgot about that. Okay, so here's our Trello. Well, obviously we can work on the room we're in. I did fix this. That was what I was just describing. Right? Yep. And I went through and set that collision collider type on all of the levels. So we're good there. Doors lock on entry. That should be a fairly straightforward one, right? So we set up a trigger that basically looks when the player enters the room. On enter, lock all the doors. On stay, do nothing. On exit, do nothing. Only on enter. Yep, okay. I think we just need to start building more content for this level. What I am thinking is maybe there would be a good way to introduce the concept of killing an enemy to open a door. So let's try that. Let's get the door first, I guess, right? Where are we gonna put it? Let's put it here. So I'm debating whether this needs to be a hidden wall here, right? That moves back. May not be the best place for it with it being too high like this. Although we could cut the top layer across and then shove it back anyway. I don't know, we'll see. So it's gonna be a regular door. We're gonna put this on top deco. Let's put her like right there. We'll go to collision. We'll grab a 2x2 or it's a 1x2 and the eraser and boom. Okay, let's go. Well, I'm thinking about it because I just remembered we need this on top deco. There we go. And that needs to be erased there. That helps. Okay, we need a door in there, so we need our interactions. Doors. We'll do a regular dungeon door here. A regular gate, I guess it's called. Gate will not be opened by the trigger. Door controller. Yep. So then we'll need to drop in a prefab for interactions, maybe. Multi-action. We're going to reset its transform. Not that it matters too much. And then when we drop in the enemies, we'll want to have them register themselves with multi-action receiver, because multi-action receiver is going to take the door and do door open. Gosh, let's create an empty in here. Come on, F2. I'm renaming you. Unity was doing this to me earlier today too, where it just would not listen to anything. Like hotkey wise. Make sure all my keys are not pressed. No, what is going on? Rename. Like, it's not frozen, but I can't edit the name of the thing. Let's delete you. Create empty. F2's rename key. Okay, time to restart Unity, folks. So I use the Unity hub. Multiple projects. F2, now it works. Cool. So what was I gonna say? Pushables. That's all I wanted to do was to organize these a little bit. Let's grab it like this, put those in there, and then grab shift of these. There we go. And then when we drag these two in there, it seems to make more logical sense. Organized way. Organized way. Wise. That was interesting. Must be down there where it's located. Yeah. So 0, 0 is down there, so we need to make sure we, excuse me, don't put anything beneath that area. Where is our grid at, even, on this? Very, very small. The center's pretty good. We'll make it maybe a couple higher. 57? 58? Ooh. Let's try 60. So we'll say 19, give it a round number. That might help with some of the issues with... Okay. Let's go ahead and zero it out. Put it at 110, 20. There we go. That's perfect for this size room. Let's go back to it and hit scan on it real quick. Nice. So it looks like it's set up for everywhere, including being able to walk outside, but that's okay. We'll fix that. Because the player can't go out there anyway when we're all done. I'm tired today. So we need to add another layer here. Low collisions. Scan. There, now we'll try and walk out there. Looks to be good. Let's save that. Create empty. And me. We'll go with skeletons. And all three of them need to have a startup action, which is for our multi-action receiver. And that is going to be register. And all three of them are going to have an action for death, which is multi-action receiver. Why am I not? Oh, I put the wrong thing in there. There we go. Unregister. So now when all three of them are dead, door should open. Test it. Save. Test. Come on, play. Come on. What you doing? All right. We had to restart Unity. It's weird that that first scene takes so long to load. It's test level. Those guys are running around. Okay, so the door is shut. Let's try and kill them. Oh, they can kill each other. That's amazing. It's the first I've seen them shoot each other. Okay. 2 down. 3 down. Doors open. Awesome. This game needs sounds so badly. Feel better then. Just checking out where the game thinks it can walk. Apparently it thinks it can walk over those, which is interesting. Shouldn't be any way to get into there. Oh, that's a bug. Might have to reduce the size of the collider a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't really do me any good though. Not gonna get in there because I just blocked the door off. Yeah, completely blocked it off. Okay, so let's pretend we're coming out of here. Go down there, come over here, go down there, go down there, we're out. What's this space about? Do we put an item over here? For them to claim? Some treasure chest with some money in it or something? That probably makes the most sense, right? Let's try putting a chest over here. Chest, chest, chest. Where are you, chest? Okay, how do we put some decoration around this thing now so it looks right? Nice. Let's look at the mine. It's not going to give us anything we really want, except for these. At some point we'll want those, right? That's cool, there's a wooden chest in here. Yeah. I mean, it's cool for a mine, don't get me wrong. Those are cool, but not for what I'm looking for here. The decoration. It's one of the statues, altars that spits out flames. Well, you actually have a pretty good idea. I'm hesitant to do that yet because I don't have it built, right? The prefab for it. But when you said it, I just happened to be having this part of my screen open, so what if I put one of these on the wall and it shoots out a fireball, right? That comes traveling down. Or a flaming arrow. Statues on the wall, yeah. So that's what I'm wondering if we do something like these. I mean, I'll make them a prefab instead of just a tile. But they could shoot down and be something for the player to interact with, right? When they get in close to the treasure chest. Right, so you'd come in here, you'd have to fight these three guys that would open the door, or you could go do the puzzle over here. But if you got over into this area, then you need to fight, not really fight them, but they would start shooting at you. How would I set that up? Let's say, so I need like a trigger, and when there's an on trigger enter, it creates the arrow, the flaming arrow, basically. Let's try it. If you're running from the other room to get away from what was in the previous room. Right, so you might be running away from these guys, but the other room that you're gonna... So this is the entrance to this area. The monsters won't come from room to room in my game. By the way, welcome. Hail. To the stream. I don't think I've seen you before. You have been here before, I apologize. Just don't recognize the name. I think that one should be there, but actually this doesn't matter. Let's get rid of these. Boom, boop, boop. Let's start setting up the prefab for it. For traps. I don't have a trap one, right? Nope, nope. Trap. Okay, so go to the dev scene. Save. Let's create a new one. Wall flame trap. Gauntlet is one of the best games, the greatest games. I can guess what it is, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, don't open in Photoshop. That's not what I wanted. We need to go down to a different color. What's this one? And we'll just set up with this one first. Reset your transform. Reset your transform. Add component. Box collider. It's a trigger. Its size is all going to be in the Y. Add a component. Wall flame trap. We're going to use direction in this. Direction is going to determine our starting position. I probably created that script down in this wrong location. Yep. Let's open it now. There we go. So we're gonna say player controller dot direction direction. We'll default it to player direction down. We'll make that serializable field. Gonna need a reference to what to spawn. Prefab game object. Prefab to spawn. That should do. And then we'll say really nothing in update. Well, we'll need update eventually. So we're gonna say serializable field, float rate of fire. We'll set it to 1. Void on trigger, enter 2D. If collision tag that equals player and collision dot tag that is trigger is not spawn the prefab and stuff. And we've already got a reference to this in Sword Attack where we're creating an arrow. Instantiate the arrow. Rigid body's not null, we add the force. And that's at those coordinates. Direction. Oops. 12. Private Quaternion. Direction vector 2. So we're just getting the direction that the face is facing, right? Offset, we don't have that set up yet, but could we use this? Because this is a vector 2 that down or up or whatever. That would be 1 position off, so let's try it. So we'll do that direction. Okay. New temp X and B. Where are those coming from? From this line. I don't think we need that. We need just transform. So we're already adding to it. Position, there we go. What? Vector 3 and a vector 2, right? Okay, we just convert you to vector 3. Oh, that's not gonna work because that's straight down and stuff. Fine, we'll convert you to vector 2. We don't have a rate of fire in here, so as soon as you enter it, it's going to fire it. We'll figure that out in a minute. Let's test it first. Assuming it all gets hooked up here, once it finishes running, there it goes. And we look for our arrow prefab. We'll also go to the arrow. How am I going to do this? So it's this. Geo.get component arrow projectile. I remember the right class that I defined for this is flame. There we go. Set on fire. Projectile damage. So projectile damage PD equals that, and PD dot set on fire. No, it doesn't need any. So it should be on fire. Should automatically instantiate as soon as we enter its trigger. And then the other thing we need to do is set the trigger size or location, if you will, which we'll just do in game. Let's set the first one to like something reasonably big though. 5 and then -5? -3? It's a problem. 2.5. I'll leave it at 3 for now. So if you enter it anywhere in there. Okay, save. And then let's go back to our scene. Dev. Nope. This one. Traps. Ah, we didn't actually make it into the prefab. Whoop. There we go. Okay, that's easily fixable. Set to like 5. Let's actually set that order in the prefab itself. That positioning of it is pretty decent. We'll go ahead and center it up though, so it's nice and tidy. And that size of this thing needs to be significantly larger, so 10 and -5 then, right? Because it's half. $7.5. Guess it doesn't matter if it's a little bit bigger. Let's duplicate another one. Save, play. Let's turn gizmos off. Okay, it tried to shoot, but it disappeared right away for some reason. Yeah, these animations are all bugged. I can't move forward while I'm doing this. Okay, so let's look at... Oh, we didn't set the direction on it. That'll definitely do it. So direction... Oh, it is set to down. Add force V. We're getting the direction. Vector 2, yep, so it should go down. Let's just stop right here in the code. Attach to Unity. Debug it. It could be that we're spawning it too close to the wall and it's just hitting the wall. That would trigger it to despawn. Direction is down. That is a negative in the Y direction. Only 0.1 for its velocity. Actually, it's less than that. It's 0.05. And what's our transform position? 13. Get rid of that. Let's pause. Okay, we're at 13.5 and negative and 29.5. So let's walk into this thing again. Can you not maximize on play, please? Thank you. Okay, so transform position was 13.5, 29.5. This returned what? Transform position is 28.5, so it's a higher number. So it started up here? Let's see. 28.5, okay, so it would have been down. Would have been like there, right? Somewhere. It was on fire. I seen it on fire. It's there for a split second, but where's it going? Where's it going? Where's my console? Ah, I don't have my console window open. Okay, let's see if anything pops up in the console when I go in and out. No. So projectile damage, where are you? We're colliding with something though. Don't want to not check for triggers because that was valid. We need to move these off to another layer then. What layer does projectile not interact with? Physics 2D is this. Projectiles do not interact with projectiles. Set up another layer for traps. And we'll go into this prefab outside of edit mode, or run mode. Wall trap. Layer traps. Awesome, didn't save. Yes, change all children. You're on traps. You're on traps. Good. Let me say project settings. Traps cannot interact with projectiles. Low colliders and projectiles are safe. Yep. Was that always that way? Let's take a look here. That doesn't even get saved as part of the project in Unity or in GitHub, really? Cool. Save them. Just run it, see if it works. I'm curious if the attackers are going to be working now. It's like we shoot a guy with an arrow. That still works. Okay. Hit that piece of code. Get out of my way. Going to kill us all. Time I can move again, it's too late. Let's just remove that breakpoint now. It's still despawning, isn't it? Let's check that one. So we can avoid all these enemies so they don't attack us, actually. Dang it. You know what? Okay, let's do it this way. We're gonna kill this debugger. We're gonna kill these guys. Go face down. I'm outnumbered here. Okay. Now, we can set this back on. So it is colliding with something immediately. This collision is... we want game object. So collision, game object. Is there a parent here? Transform parent is the grid. Yeah. It's hitting the wall. Barely though, jeez. Okay, so that's simple enough to fix, right? So our wall flame trap in this script. We're saying times direction, so stop so I can edit your code. New vector 2. And it will be 1.1 1.1. Really need an extra parenthesis there. Oh, right, it doesn't actually return it. Oh, shoot. There we go. We scaled it down or up a bit, so it should be farther away where it spawns. So 10% further. That did it. Can I kill this guy with one of these? Yep. If you're close enough to the chest, like if you just seen it and went straight for the chest, it would kill you. If you were down here and went for the chest, you'd be different, right? Like you can have room then. Let's check out both wall flames. Yeah, we're sized up right. Cool. We got us another trap type. That's probably good for this room, but I kind of want to make another trap because that was kind of pleasant to do. Let's make a commit to our GitHub first. Wall frame trap, wall frame trap. That's just the folder. Wall flame, wall flame. Sure, we need that. That's not needed. Oh, so it does have its own file. It is in binary though, so we can't really read it human readable to say what all changed. Crap. Okay. Really, I guess all of it can just be committed. Everything else is related to it as well. Wall, flame, trap. Created. Let's go back to the dev scene. We can kill this now. We can create a new game object, say floor spikes. We will reset its transform because I will forget if I don't. And we will go into updated, I think it is. Nope. It is... No, it's in the mine, isn't it? That's one of them. So that's one and that's one. So if we turn these off, it's perfect. So I'm actually going to create another game object. We'll call this one Spike Up. We'll set these as children of that. Give all of these the same component, which is our set Y. Give them all 5 for the Y order. top parent is going to be based on floor spikes. Okay, and then we're going to add a box collider to this. It looks way small. What is going on with these things? How big are they? This is not correct. It's not set up. That's what. Yep, I'm 28. We need to go point, and then 3, yeah, that 32-bit. Now this will get much smaller. Once it finishes doing this, there we go. And those can go down to 1. So now, if we turn off the spike, we go from this, and we turn it back on to that. That's all we need to do. The trigger's the right size. We'll make it an actual trigger. We'll add another component. This will be spike, trap, script. Bike track, come on. So let's move you. You're gonna complain to me. Yep, there we go. We're gonna set a serializable field of damage amount. We're gonna leave it set to 1. That's probably the appropriate amount for it. We're gonna need a game object. Active spikes. We'll set that in Unity basically, right? So let's let that compile. Did I save it? Oh, I did save it. Let it compile, get the fields. Boom. Now we know which to go up. We need like a frequency or something. Serializable field, float, frequency. UNCY. That doesn't seem right. FRUNCY equals every second, we'll say. Say starting frequency in float. Come on, hit the right key. Float. Time remaining. Starting frequency. Can I do that? START. No, I can't. Can I? God. We'll just set you in start. Time remaining equals start frequency. Cool. Serializable field, so we can set it whether it's up or not. Serializable field. Bool active. Yeah, on. I don't think active will work on. Spike up. What was I say? Spike up. Up. Okay, then we'll say on. On trigger. Enter exit. There's no on trigger stay. on trigger stay. There we go. If spike up is true, by the way, we'll default this to false just so there's no ambiguity about it. It's not ambiguous. It's well defined. If spike up. And we'll say collision dot get component. Say game object dot get component. Health. There we go. So if it's a health thingy, could be player, could be monsters. Health H equals that. If H is not equal to null, so we found one, then H dot take damage amount. Boom. And then the health takes care of if it should die or whatever. Doing the animations, flashing, all that stuff. Or better. If I didn't do my job right. And then in here, we'll say time remaining equals time dot delta time. It's time remaining minus time dot delta time. If time remaining. Why am I typing this? I have it copied. Is less than 0. Let's say equal to 0. Then time remaining equals starting frequency. And we'll just say toggle it, right? So if it's up, it stays up for a second. If it's down, it stays down for a second. So we'll say spike up. Spike up. These type right words. Spike up. Not spike up. Should work, let's try it. It's a trigger, it's not a... so traps. Boom. Nice thing about the floor traps, there's only ever one of them. There's not, 2 pieces. 2 directions or whatever. Oh, that's interesting. It's only the top tips of the top one that's not same size. Cool. Okay, so we'll delete this one. This is not needed in this scene anymore. We'll save it. We'll go back to our main scene that we were just working on. They probably aren't going to stay in this scene, but I'm going to put them in here for now. Maybe we could put them around the chest too. Make the chest really deadly. If you go up from the bottom, it's going to have spike pits. Did you have to walk through? You go from the sides, it's gonna have the fire things. Let's get our snapping tool. Duplicate. Oh, come on, duplicate. Duplicate. All of our interaction stuff on the right interaction thingy. Create some more hierarchy here. Spike, perhaps. Okay, spike trap. You don't look like you're in the right spot. You're not. Thought I hit snap to axes. Not doing it the first click. Interesting. So this one, let's give it an offset, right? We'll set this one to spike up. The other one's spike down. Oh, we didn't. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay, so if spike up. Well, we'll just do it in here. If spike up is now spike up. Actually, We've got a game object to find for this. Active spikes. Set active spike up. There we go. Save. This chest better be worth it. Oh crap! The thing got me. I wasn't even looking at it. I was debating whether I should test if it's gonna kill me, and I was looking at it and saying, you know, the animation's not quite right there. It doesn't animate up. It just appears. Oh, come on. Oh, God. That's a thing. It's like an insta-death. Because it hurts so bad. Oh God! You just insta-death! You get stuck in it and you die! Why is it killing me? Because, like, it should have... If spikes weren't up, it shouldn't have been damaging me. Or was it just that it was so long because of the frequency so often, like... Oh... Okay, so... There needs to be a cooldown between attacks, I guess? That's funny. I mean, we can do it only when it first pops up, but that's probably not appropriate. I'm gonna do that. Like, I do want it to hit you immediately as soon as you step on it, right? I could set some cooldown on it once you touch it. That would work. But it would apply for anything. We'll try it. Float. Cooldown. I don't know. 1. No, it equals 0. We went to work right away. Realizable field. And in here we'll say cooldown equals, so we hit something, right? Cooldown equals that minus cooldown minus time dot delta time. If cooldown equals less than or equal to 0, we'll do all this stuff. We'll actually damage a thing. I guess this needs to come out here then. No, that should be up in here. That makes more sense. And we'll set the cooldown to, I don't know, 1 as soon as it damages something. And we'll set cooldown, cooldown equal to 0 as soon as it's toggle state, right? So the next time the spikes pop up, it can hit somebody right away. Okay then. I can envision making a spike pit trap, right? I also probably need to make sure it's not a trigger. That's part of the problem. It's hitting his head instead of his feet. Oh boy, you want a tango. Shot in the back, dude. Die. Yeah, it's still hitting pretty hard. There's a couple hits in there, we're just walking through it. Let's go out of this mode, go to this, and we will set our focus onto the spike traps. So our cooldown timer is running down pretty quick. In fact, it is negative most of the time somehow. Oh, because it's getting to 0 all the time. So it's ready to rock and roll right away. Yeah, it'll hit you twice if you walk through it, basically. I think that's okay with this frequency, because I got them spiking up and down pretty quick. Oh, my nose. So let's take the trigger out of it. So we'll say collision if collision.game is trigger. It's not is trigger. Here we go. Compile that up and we'll run this. Oh, play. Oh, the other. So my head's now in it, and it's not hitting me. I took the trigger off. So I've got a trigger around the head that it accepts the arrow attacks because it feels better as that kind of attack when it happens. But his feet are a square, basically. And that's what we're checking for in this trap now. So you can walk through it with the right timing. But you better have the timing right. And now it only hits you once because you're not as tall. Yeah, so I think that's perfect now. So what we could do is, like, you know, make those in any kind of arrangement we want, and you have to, like, watch them flip and trigger and all that stuff. So that's cool. I want to watch it just a little bit more. I want to see if I want to change the trigger or the animation on it or not. I don't know that I do. So we'll have to get an animator controller involved and set up animations, blah, blah, blah. I think I do, though. We also need to disable or rearrange something so you can't see the bottom part. It looks funny. Zoom in on it. Can. Yeah, they look funny with the point being over top of that. Let's fix that as well. Run the floor spikes. We're setting 5 here. We'll set these to 6 then. Should fix it. Excuse me. I had to sneeze. Where were we? Let's go back into it. See if that fixed the order of rendering, blah, blah, blah. I knew you were going to follow me. Yeah, that looks better. Now it's just a matter of animating them, I think. How am I going to do that? I'm not quite sure. So let's try it first, right? On the parent, we can add create an animation. Spike trap. The lowercase p, please. Animator. Spike trap. There we go. So add property. I don't think there's any way we can render a portion of a image yet without having a something like a custom shader. Gosh, I had to think of the word. So it's going to be down in spike up, so the is active stuff, right? And then we're going to have these two. We could try animating its transform. Thing is, I'm afraid it's going to look funny. Let's go into here. Over here it is right now. The Y position is at 1. So this is the top piece, right? So let's get the bottom piece as well. Okay, that Y position should be at 0. Yeah, okay. So what happens if we set your Y position to -1 there? And your Y position to -1, or to 0. And they do go up, right? It's probably best at 0.5 for both those. And -0.5. And then we also add in the sprite render object on both of those. It's alpha for its material. Its color. Yep, it's color. Add spike render, sprite render, color, boom. And we set this one to 0. And 0. And they animate in like that. Problem is, they're going to show from the bottom still. That's the sad thing. What if then we... This is going to get a little sketchy here, what I'm about to do. So add property again for both of those. The sprite render. And do sorting order. Render. Sorting order. And currently it's at 6, so we'll set it at 0 and 0. And it's going to go up as we go along. Yep. Would help if I actually got out of that field though. So what's that do for us? It means like right there it's going to start to become visible. You might catch a little bit of movement. It's basically whenever it pierces through the floor in the ordering layer. That's what we're trying to do. So let's go there. Let's go back to the spike trap floor pit thing. All right, so we got the animator controller automatically hooked up. They go like that, and it's not working. Not working at all. What if we moved this, or move this in closer? So they kind of like... No. It's almost like we need it there for the alpha to 0. And this one alpha to 0. So what's our Y position? 0.824. -0.24. -1.76. Okay, and let's move these back again. No, no. Well, alpha needs to go forward just a hair. Very quick, right? Save. So the animator controller then. I think if we go to animation, spike trap, that should just automatically play that one then. And then loop time, turn that off. Save. Animator's on this object though, that's the thing. It's not on this piece. Dang. We'll try it. It's probably only gonna play once and then never again, but we can trigger it if we need to. With code. Yeah, they're just plopping right in. And the order and layers all screwed up now because of the animation. Get rid of you. You're better just flicking on for right now. When I have more time and need to polish stuff, I will work on that. Let's go into this and remove it here. There we go. Save, go back into the game, make sure it works right. Looks and works right. Yeah. Yeah, you shoot each other, boys. You're not even targeting each other when you get hit. You're killing each other. Yeah! Get some. And this boy just goes up here and gets stuck. Can we open the chest? We can! There's nothing in it, but we can! Yay! Okay, so let's polish it up a little bit here by adding some things around it on the floor or something, I don't know. Put chest on the wrong layer. Yeah. We'll add some blood not in the obvious spot, right? Because right there would be the obvious spot. Just to tip them off, something's going to happen there. What else? What else? Top deco. Excuse me. A little bit of a different pattern here. Oops, we want this one. You sure? There we go. Yeah, I could see me making a lot of spike traps. Spike trapped areas where you have to follow the pattern. Maybe their frequency's 1 for most of them, but one's like 1.5 and it gets out of phase with them every once in a while. Those kind of things. You have to wait till the cycle goes through. There we go. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's that one. And then there's no way for me to do this except for that. By overlapping two different ones together. And that just happens to work out pretty good, so that's cool. This guy's in the wrong spot. And he's supposed to be at 0.5. There we go. Now both of those there and there indicate those. Back to ground. There we go. I don't know. It's a start. I think that might be about it for tonight. Let's take a look here. They are still streaming, so let's go ahead and raid. Come on. Below the Stone Dev. I need to get the kids off to bed. I'll catch you guys probably tomorrow. So, see you. Thanks for following anybody that followed. I guess not tonight. Oh, bye.